Interstate 820 is the second loop that is located within the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Acting as a bypass completely around the city of Fort Worth, it's actually known as the northern bypass of Interstate 20. But that was not always the case. What's going on, everybody? My name's Gold Titanium 68, and on a relatively shorter video today, we're going to be talking about Interstate 20, the bypass that was a beltway? A little bit more after this intro. So, back in 1963, when Interstate 820 was designated, it was actually took a part of Loop 217, which was the southern bypass of then Interstate 20. So this pretty much today would have encountered pretty much coming all the way down here, coming through Forest Hill, Edgecliff, South Hills, and then instead of coming here, which by the way, at that time, this portion between 35 and then coming down to around here was not built. So 820 actually ended at the State Highway 183 and 377 intersection, which is next to the Ridgelea Hills neighborhood. Very interesting, because when I first thought of that, I was like, didn't realize that was a thing. But Interstate 820 actually took over two different loops. Took over Loop 820, which actually did encompass a northern bypass, but basically connecting up then I-20 to 35 West, and was still being worked on coming to the west. So y'all might be thinking, wait a minute, 820 was not always a bypass loop? How do you explain that? Well, if you haven't watched or at least listened to some of my other videos going over some of these highways, you probably don't know the fact that back in the 70s going into 1987, they were building a brand new alternate route for Interstate 20. So a very good portion of Interstate 30, basically starting off where I-30 starts now up to the I-30 US 80 interchange, was a part of Interstate 20. And then US 80 going east towards Spur 507 in Tarrant, connecting back on I-20, that was a part of Interstate 20. As I've said, basically the southern portion of Loop 820 and the southern portion of 635 were originally a part of each respective highways. But now they're a part of Interstate 20 as they built a southern bypass route for the DFW area so that truckers don't have to really go through downtown Dallas and downtown Fort Worth unless they're absolutely necessary. I digress. But in the late 70s, actually, the western half of 820, so basically right up from where, well, I would say just before the Chisholm Trail Parkway 183 and I-20 interchange is, all the way up to probably just before 35, that was all under construction for, well, the western portion of 820. Now, why did it take so long? The reason is because I believe in the 70s, I mean, they had already built the DFW Turnpike, which was at the time became Interstate 20 between Dallas and Fort Worth. So cities like Arlington, Grand Prairie, and Irving were all expanding as a part of this corridor. So it would have been much better to just build a loop going up to facilitate maybe even like the northern expansions of cities like Hearst, Bedford, maybe even Euless, as 183 was being built, which we will probably talk about that in a later video, just not at the moment. But the western half, as you can probably see, there's not really a need to expand that way, because they're trying to better connect everyone to, or pretty much trying to better connect Dallas and Fort Worth and this whole area in between, especially with DFW Airport opening up in 1974 and Greater Southwest closing not that much later and is now an industrial park on the south side of 183. You kind of want to be as close as you can to the airport and you don't really want to have to deal with so much traffic going into Dallas and or Fort Worth. There's also part of the reason why the Dallas-Fort Worth area has a very dense network of highways. And I mean, you can really see some of that here. When it comes to how a beltway works, in terms, think of this. So a bypass is only on one side of the highway. A beltway is both sides. So in basic terms, so we all know about 635. It was originally an eastern bypass loop of Dallas. And why is that? It's because 35 east is to the west of downtown Dallas. So as urban sprawl happened, it would have been easier to just go north and east, especially since you don't really have to cross the Trinity River. Now, again, as they did go farther south, I mean, there wasn't really that much development going farther south, so it would have been better to just go eastward. And then up until I-30 became a big thing, yeah, I mean, you could have probably built like a bypass loop. You probably could have built a beltway to the west, but at this point now, with how much urban sprawl is going on, there's no real need to. But with Interstate 20, it's a little bit different. So, as I've said before, Interstate 20 used to lie on the same alignment as Interstate 30 through Fort Worth up until about 1987, where it took the southern route, where it took the southern portion of 820 and 635 and built a new southern bypass route, which meant that instead of it being a full beltway based on both sides of Interstate 20, 820 became a northern bypass route of I-20. And with this, I mean, there are still, 820 is still one of the most congested highways in the state. And how are they addressing this? Well, there are currently 3 projects that are in the works. Now, the first one I've alluded to many times, and again, we're going to be talking about each specific thing as it happens. Well, pretty much as this stuff happens. So the first thing that's currently under construction right now is what's known as the Southern Southeast Connector. So what this is a rebuild of basically in US Highway 287 from right around here, I believe, to I think here, as well as I-20 from right around in the Forest Hill area to Pleasant, I forgot what road this is right over here. And then 820 basically from right around the Stop 6 Sunrise Edition area down to its terminus at I-20. Now, why does it include 3 separate highways? It's because 287 lies on the same alignment as 820 and I-20 up until here. But the plans for this, and we'll go into a lot more detail as we make a video on this, but there's going to be collector distributor lamps between this interchange here and this interchange here, and as you can probably see, I can zoom in. You can see all the stuff that they are doing. I mean, this photo is as recent as February. So they are completely rebuilding the interchanges around here because they're going to try to at least have the ability to widen we're going to have to push out the frontage roads a little bit farther to the north and maybe a little bit to the south, but not too much. But they're going to push the main lanes of I-20 inwards, and they will streamline a little bit more. But they're going to have collector distributor lanes between this interchange, so that if you're taking 287, you can just go north, and then there you go. You just do that interchange. I'm not exactly sure. I don't remember exactly what they're going to do here, and I don't think they're supposed to have collector distributor lanes here either. But this will widen I-20 itself to 10 lanes. This will widen here to, I believe, either 10 or 12 lanes in this area. I don't remember, but we'll take a look. But again, we'll have a video on this sooner or later. Another project that's in the works is the expansion of the North Tarrant Express. So for those of y'all that don't know what the North Tarrant Express is, this is pretty much kind of consists on 3 different highways. So it starts to the east on at the 183 and State Highway 121 interchange, and it goes west and it follows the northeast portion of 820 near North Richland Hills up to 35 West, and then basically from 35 West between I-30 going up to State Highway 170 is the North Tarrant Express. And right now, pretty much on here, at least on this corridor between of 820 between 35 and 183, it is a four-lane highway, so 2 main lanes in each direction with 4 frontage roads, 2 lanes in each direction. Now, in my opinion, I might be wrong, but they're probably going to widen that to at least 6 main lanes. They should. If they can, they should probably widen it to 8 and then try and push the frontage roads in a little bit more if they're not going to keep it at 6. If they're not going to add 6 frontage road lanes. Because, I mean, like, you can kind of see it here. So there's a significant amount of... It's a 4-lane highway. So these are the main lanes here. These are the frontage roads. There's a significant amount of space in between that could be reconfigured, and this could be expanded to have 6 lanes. But that's one of the things going on. It's not the only thing that is currently in the works. The other one is what's known as 820 West. So what they'll do here is they're going to basically widen 820 from I-35 West down to the I-30 interchange. And they're going to add at least 1 lane in each direction. They're not going to extend the North Tarrant Express westward and add express lanes. They're just going to add at least another lane. So anywhere where there's 10 lane, 8 lane, where there's currently 8 lanes, they're going to widen to 10. And then I believe once it hits State Highway 199, this is a 6-lane highway, so they'll widen it to 8. As more and more people are now starting to travel on through State Highway 199. And as you can kind of see on there, there's a lot of traffic, there's a lot of construction going on, especially since more people are moving outwards into Azle, and even moving farther west, moving into towns like Aledo, Weatherford, and even Mineral Wells, if you're going that far west. Pretty far west if you're going out to Mineral Wells, but hey, you're getting there. But yeah, so I know this is supposed to be going to be a lot shorter of a video, and the reason for that is because we have now completed all of the interstates. There's a couple of videos I do want to kind of go over. Like, I believe we'll probably go over some of the other 820 projects, like the Southeast Connector and 820 West. We have both of those already complete. At least the script's already complete. Going to be taking a look at that the next couple of weeks. And then we're going to go over the TechXpress projects. We'll go over like what is TechXpress and some of the projects and some of the stuff that's been completed and under construction. And then we'll also go over the Texas Clear Lanes Initiative and kind of saying what in the world that is and how it helps to fund some of these projects, like the 820, like some of these Interstate 820 projects, stuff on the I-35, I-30, I-20, 635, etc. But yeah, I think this is where we're going to end it here. Again, I know it's a much shorter video, unlike last time, some of those last ones, but this is kind of like a precursor into some of the other projects that will go on, where we're going to go into a lot more detail as to what is going to go on with some of these other projects, like the Southeast Connector and like 820 West. So I hope you guys like this video today. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. And if you don't want to miss any future uploads, whether it be these automotive videos, aviation videos, mountain bike videos, or even any new weather live streams that we might or might not have through the fall and winter leading up to the spring, hit that bell icon. So you'll be the first one to be notified when they drop. And if you guys are keeping up with those live streams, you'll get that half-hour notification before the next stream starts. And then again, leave a comment down below. Let me know something interesting about this, about some of these highways. Like, I know someone had recently sent me a comment saying that I-30 actually used to be a lot farther north when it was originally built, and they kind of explained how, like, if you look at the photos, like where it was and how it used to align. just kind of interesting. Or even if there's any other projects you want me to take a look at, put it in the comments, and I will definitely take a look at that and get to work on hopefully putting some more stuff into that. Other than that, hope you guys have a great day. Hope to see y'all later.